What is going on, everyone? We are back again. It is round 3. We are here in Belgium at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, or however you pronounce that. We see here a few people going out. The grid is looking a little bit... We are short, I think, 4 drivers right now, as we have a number of people finishing up a race in another league. They will be with us shortly, so they will have fewer laps. They will have fewer opportunities here in qualifying. So, looking at our weather here, I will get these overlays set up this week. So, when we have our next race, we will have some nice little weather overlays and some nice little information, maybe some tire wear, maybe some hot babes. Possibilities are endless. So, we have, I believe, for the final time for at least the foreseeable future, Magnuson Cube going out on his first lap here. I believe he is out on some intermediate tires here, trying to save his softs, going with the balanced allocation. We are doing short qualifying tonight, so we will be seeing at least 2 or 3 fast runs this session for everyone. Magnuson Cube, who is moving is moving to a different country. So he's moving to a brand new time zone. I believe he's moving to Spain, as he keeps spamming the Spain flag on everything, and as we see him take a very interesting line. And Gunner, who just joined the server, just hopped in this seat last second here as he just signed out. He gets disqualified for blocking this pit lane. But again, back to Magnuson Cube. Magnuson Cube, this will be his final race with CRL for some time. We already have his replacement lined up, so you see him taking some interesting lines through there. But as we wait for everyone to join, take a look here at our current standing. So we can go ahead and see our combined constructors. Mercedes back on top of Ferrari. Big week for them. Only a 2-point gap. We do have Chubb Tucker currently in the Ferrari, who is actually going to be replaced next week. Chubb Tucker is actually moving down to D2, so he's replacing Peter Giordano in that top seat with Ferrari. So Peter, going back to school in England, will be not be able to race as regularly with us, so he is giving up his seat for now. And we see down in the bottom, my team Williams tied with Red Bull. So me and Jeff definitely showing everyone who's boss. So we see Magnuson Cube go flying off the track as he goes up Radion. Luckily not into the barrier, so he's continuing. So push those enters a little bit too hard. In the background, I should say, since I had the standings up. Marcel Pabst in first place. Currently, as you saw on the standings, I'll pop these up just for one more second. Marcel won 2 races in a row, has a 13-gap lead to Kai Guo. Freddie Raz, who just joined, who has raced in the first 2 races, has joined Haas, and so him and Nathan will certainly be a very spicy duo for Labib. You'll watch with Mac. And a respectable 43.3 there on his first push attempt here with these soft tires. So we will kind of roll down the order here, see if we can find who is pushing. We have Major Castleman just finished his lap 43.2 for Major Castleman. Chubb Tucker will hop over here with Ahmed Abdullahi, the team principal here for Kick Sauber. He decided not to put himself in his own seat because he thought he had a reserve lined up for that spot, but he just did not show up, even though he did let us know he may not be here. So looking through here on his pushing, he's actually not pushing. He's off his battery now, so maybe an invalidation there. We should have Mateo just finishing, going up into 42.2. So Mateo's had kind of a rough start. Mateo has always been known as someone with a lot of potential, as he's one of the youngest people on our grid. And I believe he is our youngest D2 race winner, just in general. Mateo I believe, is actually older now than Hudson was when Hudson won his first race with us. And we actually have him with us tonight in the McLaren, and on his EA account, Genghis Khan 54. So we have Hudson Poole, 3-time champion here of Division 1 NZRL, rocking the EA account Genghis Khan 54. So he's with us tonight, so we'll be interesting to see what he can do. Looks like we have those MRL people slowly meandering in, still missing Marcel. I think that might be the last one, and there, as I say that, he pops into his car. So, actually, no, we're still missing. Oh, there he is. Yeah, Eruption. So, Marcel. So, we have Simon Carlson here on a push lap. Very interesting other league race happened today. So, hop on board. Nick Hamrick behind Simon here. So, Simon, the only one pushing at the current moment, so we'll follow on with him. Simon having a pretty decent season so far this year. We've had 2 races in. He has not been punted on lap 1. I think that happened to him maybe 5 or 6 times last season. I think Magnuson Cube drove into the back of him maybe 3 or 4 times last season. So I'm sure that aspect of Magnuson Cube won't be missed. He's always been kind of known to kind of crash into the back of people at early parts of races, but is generally relatively competent and clean through once things kind of get settled in. And we saw last week at Hungary, train, I believe, led by Magnuson Cube and Maxime, just basically static for the entire race. I think 4 or 5 cars just static there. And Simon goes up into P6 with a 43.3. And now let's hop over here with Nick Hamrick. Let's see where he is at. He finishes his lap. Runs out of battery before the line. That is something that I've noticed in preparation for this. But Nick Hamrick, 42.0, going above Cam Bourne by 3 thousandths. So big for Nick. Nick has shown a lot of pace, but he's only had 1 race so far with us as he missed round 1 and had a bit of issue, I believe, with setup and tire degradation at Hungary last week, where he was in a really nice spot for a good amount of the race, but then just fell off a cliff towards the end pace-wise. So I believe we have Hudson Poole here, Genghis Khan 54, on his first push lap on this game. So this is, I believe, his first race. This is his first race with ZRL on F124. He did post a nice little video on YouTube showing, showing a top 100 time trial time, I believe, of a 40 point something. I can't remember. You go look at his YouTube channel. You can take a look there. But Hudson Poole again pushing here. He's maybe not being super aggressive with the battery here, but we do know that this battery will dump really fast as he goes down this back straight. So after these next 2 corners, a couple of cars there, a little bit slow in front of him. He was showing purple sector 2. Let me pull up my telemetry over here to take a look at our timing table right now. And that is a purple sector 2. So Cam Bourne is the fastest right now with a 42.889. Hudson with a 42.722. So Hudson may be the first one into the 41s here, depending on what happens here, because this Mercedes just right in the middle of the track. Let's see, Hudson used first and 41.6. So Hudson, relatively new to the game, still has it, as you can see. So Marcel, who is still yet to set a time, as he did join late, we will have to wait and see what kind of times he starts off with. We're sitting at 7 minutes and 30 seconds left in our session, so a lot of people here will be pushing on their second attempt here. We have Justin Schreier on his first attempt, or actually just about to start his first attempt. It looks like he did a double out lap here. Oh, no, going back in, so an invalid lap back in. So we have Ahmed Abdullahi here on his, I believe this is actually his second push attempt. He invalidated his first. Driving for Williams tonight, like I said before. Not driving for his team tonight, as he believed he had a reserve, but again, no reserve showed up. Let's see, respectable. This time has not shown up here on my telemetry yet. A little bit of a lag there. on board with him. As we have Marcel just going around that last corner, Eruption in that Ferrari, starting his first push lap here. Big things expected from him as we see Hudson as the first one in the 41s. So we'll continue on here with Ahmed, a.k.a. T-Nail, a.k.a. Seaman Slurper. Looks like a little bit of traffic in front of him about to start their laps. A slow Haas with a Mercedes behind them. Actually might be Cam Bourne finishing his second push attempt. So let's see how much he can improve. No purple sectors for him, but an improvement through his middle sector. And the second one into the 41, so 41.8. So, and we see Ahmed in the 43.1. So always strong pace from Hudson. Magnussen with a big snap oversteer, but I don't believe he is pushing as his lap is currently invalid. Jack Fletcher here just finished his second push attempt. We have Kai Guo, this third one, into the 41. So for that Aston Martin, Kai Guo, again, who sits second in our championship. Really nice spot. Kind of lost a podium last week because of a penalty, but he's still second. So actually now let's hop on board with the championship leader right now. Again, two wins in a row out of 2 races. So Nathan Doan is actually pushing. He set the fastest first sector. This is the wrong. That's not Nathan Doan. Here's Nathan Doan, who just actually finished his lap, and he did a 42.2. So rough last sector there for him. We'll go back to Marcel here, who actually shows as Leclerc on my telemetry at the current moment. 43.8 for Marcel, so that is a surprising lap. Literally at the bottom. So big, expect a lot of improvement for his final push attempt, as the stupid yellow flag thing is blocking our session timer, but my telemetry shows 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in our session. And I'll hop through here. Let's see who is on a push lap. Cam Bourne on his way in. Maxime, I believe, on his way in. Looks like that is it for most drivers. I believe everyone's going back in. We have Mateo on an outlap about to start a lap. So Mateo only just under 3/10 outside of the 41s here. So we'll hop on board with Mateo as everyone else is going back into the pit lane. That's just kind of how you drive these cars right now, where you just send it on the steering and wait for the grip to come. Especially in a hairpin like that, you can just carry a lot of speed and get that car pointed really, really fast because of just how snappy things are this year. We'll hop on board here and we'll keep an eye on that sector time. So he's about to, as he heads towards this corner at the end of the Kendall Straight, he will. Let's show. He is up. He's actually slightly down on the Sector 1 time. Very difficult place to improve here in Sector 1, as it is only really one corner, and then you're just flat all the way through the rest of it. As he heads down to Puan, this is close to, if not flat, for most people with the right setups here. So as we saw earlier this week and earlier today, we saw Max Verstappen and others go flat through Puan for the first time in a few years. It is doable in this game. So Mateo showing fastest first sector, up several tenths on his time there. We will see where he finishes as he goes towards the bus stop chicane and on his way to likely his final push attempt, as there's only 2 minutes left in the session. He won't have enough time to go back in and go back around. So 42.1 for Mateo. So a lot of time there, and a lot of time for people to beat him with now. Or excuse me, a lot of time. That kind of sets the bar for the end of qualifying for us. We have Jack Fletcher, who likes to push really early, just beginning his lap. So he's going to run into that giant train you see at the end, or going through the Sector 2 right now. There looks like a bit of a tow being set up here by Nick Hamrick on his outlap. So we'll see how much this does for him as he goes across the Sector 1 line at the end of this straight. So nice toe there. Up by almost 2/10, so really nice Sector 1. Just short of the fastest set by Nathan Doan. So we'll see once he gets to that Sector 2 line exactly where he's at in his lap. Marcel actually retiring from the session, so Marcel just deciding to start from the back of the grid, or he crashed out. No, he's in the pit lane, so he has just elected he's going to do a last to first, I suppose. Very interesting decision there from Marcel. Fletcher up about 3/10 on his time, so looking to break into the 41s potentially here on this lap. Look at that traffic. All of that traffic. Hopefully he doesn't run into the back of anyone here. All that traffic. We have an Aston Martin right in front of him. Looks like he's going to get there just in time, just as everyone's starting their lap. Very shaky on the exit there. Let's see. 42.1, so about 3.2 of an improvement for Jack Fletcher, so moves him up into P6. Does not beat Mateo's time. So a few people here. We have Mac, I believe. I believe Cam Bourne is the first one here on a push. Actually, no, I believe it's actually... And these Red Bull colors are so confusing. Fry finishing a lap here, I believe, with Magnussen behind him. So, Justin Schreier about to finish his first actual valid lap here. Let's see where this puts him. Then we'll hop on board with Cam Bourne as he heads into Sector 3. So Justin Schreier into P9 and Magnussen up into P3. So the next person into the 41s. And then we hop on board here with Cam Bourne, who is currently sitting in P2, who is actually up on Magnussen, or not sure what time that delta was showing there. Looks like he's actually backed off, so his lap is done. Then we have Mac in the Kick Sauber showing a 2.6 improvement there. I'm not sure what delta that is for. Very deep into the bus stop. So we'll see how much he's able to improve here. It's like a 43.2. Then we'll hop on board here with Hudson Poole. So Genghis-Khan 54, also known as Hudson Poole. Looks like he's going to hold on to pole here. We have Kai Guo, who's pushing again. Or excuse me, on his final push lap, improves to P2 actually, so very big improvement. So Hudson Poole being here as a reserve actually preventing him from putting himself on pole. Nick Hamrick a little bit of a snap of oversteer as he goes, even more oversteer, so not as much improvement there as he would like. So that does it for qualifying, unless Chubb Tucker is pushing. He is to the line, and Chubb Tucker remains in P16. So very big gaps in qualifying here compared to the first two rounds. As we have over 2 seconds, although Marcel is definitely capable of a faster time. This will certainly be interesting to see him start from the back, or next to the back of the grid, as Gunnar was disqualified before he set a lap time. So Kai Guo, Freddie Razzle, we'll kind of pull up the standings here as we bring everyone here. Kai Guo, Magnussen Cube, and Freddie Razzle all in decent starting positions. Let's get this correct. So there is our qualifying order. Back over here. Hudson Poole putting it back on pole after a bit of an absence with us. Not racing with us in Season 10. And then having... So Cam Bourne back at it in P3 in qualifying. Magnussen Cube in his final race with us starting P4. Freddie Razzle in P5. So this is a very good opportunity for a lot of people here to just kind of swing the championship in their favor, as Marcel, like I said, has a 13-point lead. Pop that up here. Marcel, 13 points over 3 drivers. So we have a tie for 3 between Kai Guo, Magnuson Cube, and Freddie Razzle. Magnuson, who this is his final round this season, Fred and Kai will continue. Looking at this race, again, we are going to have a dry session throughout the entirety of this race. And again, as mentioned before, this is a no Parc Fermé league, so you are permitted to change your setup when changing sessions. So we're likely seeing a few people swap between quali and race setups as we move between the 2 sessions. But expectations for strategy will likely be soft or mediums to either hard or mediums, depending on the start. So we've seen in both the first 2 races how strong that undercut is. And here we go, actually, the lights. Everyone's ready to go, and here we go. We'll hop on board here with Cam Bourne. See if we can't see. Looks like Magnuson Cube already falling down the order. Let's kind of see what happened to him. Looks like he had a bit of a spin there. So he's already well behind everyone else. Very nice start from Hudson Poole and Kai Guo. A little bit of scrapping here between some people. Hop on board here with Ahmed as we go up through Radion and Eau Rouge as we head down the Kimmel Straight for the first time. Back up here towards the front, Nick Hamrick getting in front of Cam Bourne, but Cam Bourne not giving that up. He is on the soft tires, so only one person on those hards. We have Roldy back there, Aston Martin team principal, the lone hard runner. A lot of people here on soft, so some people are going to be trying the soft medium strategy here. The only problem there is just the degradation on this track is very, very high. So have to keep an eye on here what these soft runners do compared to these medium runners. We'll get a good idea of how quickly. Ooh, big snap there from Fred as he goes down. Pouon gives Jack Fletcher an opportunity to maybe potentially make a move, and he's a little bit too far back. Difficult corner to try to make an overtake. So Fred holds position for now. Cam Bourne on those medium tires, losing Nick Hamrick a little bit as we saw them battling at the end of the Kimmel Straight on this lap. Very close racing for now. We have Gunnar reserve here. We actually have a slow car. We have Roldy, who has gone around and goes around again. So Roldy struggling back here, staying out of the wall, which is good for everyone else. We have Jack Fletcher here maybe trying to make a move on Fred, but he does back out. Looks like Cam Bourne went a little bit deep into the bus stop in front of them. More action behind into the bus stop. Back very close to Eruption. Eruption already up to P13 from his start in P18. Mac looking for maybe a move on Marcel here going into turn 1. Nope, backs out. So Marcel and Chubb Tucker having a really rough exit there. So he's fallen behind the order here. Mac actually a rough exit out of turn 1 too, and our Marcel already gaining quite a bit of time. Back up here towards the front, a spicy little battle here. Oh, contact from Nick Hamrick and all of them. Kai Guo takes the lead of the race. Looks like Jack Fletcher, or excuse me, Nick Hamrick is going to take P2, so Hudson falls down to P3. So after a really nice start from Hudson losing out on 2 positions because of that insane DRS advantage going down the Kimmel Straight. Just such a long DRS zone. In real life, we did see that they reduced the DRS, or the length of the zone by 75 meters. I don't believe that has actually made its way into this game yet, or if it ever will. Back here we have this triple soft runners here from Fletcher, Mateo down to Major Castleman. Major Castleman, who had a very nice race at Canada a couple weeks back, had a rough race at Hungary being punted on lap 1, I believe, or actually lap 2, and he decided to retire. Simon Colston down in P11, already losing the train to Maxime. So Maxime, a 10-car DRS train from P1 to P10 at the current moment. Let's hop on board here with our leaders again, because we missed a little bit of action as we were rolling down the order before. So Kai Guo will take us into lap 3 with the lead and the fastest lap, but everyone behind him quick to beat that. Jack Fletcher here, both the Red Bulls in really nice positions right now. Jack Fletcher with the current fastest lap. I'm on board here as we saw some random dirt go flying into the sky there as we swapped here. A little bit of a gap there, so really, really close again between our 3 leaders. Looks like Nick Hamrick going to look to take the lead, and Hudson's going to get back in front and backs out before trying to make another move. So Kai Guo, Hudson actually going around the outside there. A little bit of contact between him and Nick Hamrick. And now Kai Guo having to check up a little bit is under threat of Cam Bourne. And Cam Bourne going down the inside there. A little contact. He's getting the position done. And so Cam Bourne moves himself into P3. So Hudson making a little bit of chaos there for our top 5. But this DRS train is holding strong. And now Marcel is actually up into P11. Our championship leader is in the DRS zone. Kind of bridged that gap. So we now have a DRS train from P1 to P16. At least in deltas right now. We'll see if everyone can hang on to that 1 second delta. So we have Magnuson Cube already in the back. Already pitting 2 hard tires. So he is, at this point, electing to go all the way to the end. Barring any kind of safety cars. So Fred very, very close to Kai Guo. Kai, who just went from P1 to P4 just on that lap. Major Castleman maybe looking to make a move on Mateo here. Going around the outside of the bus stop. Very difficult here. A little contact between the 2 of them. Bit of a goofy camera angle there, but looks like Major Castleman's going to get in front, but they're losing a lot of time. Oh, Mateo's fighting back going into turn 1 here. Marcel setting the fastest lap from P11. So Castleman behind here as they go into turn 1, and they're back in the train. Very close. Major Castleman looking to try to make the move before they get into, I believe, Uroch down here at this corner. I'm not sure what these corners are named. But Castleman getting in front. Will he have DRS? He will, but Mateo is going to be right on his butt with DRS, so he's going to have an insane tow, and Castleman used a lot of battery. So Mateo's going to get back in front. More action happening behind him as Marcel moves into P10 in front of Maxime. A bit of a gap there has formed between P11 and P12 of Maxime and Justin Schreier. More action up here as Nick Hamrick has retaken the lead of the race from Hudson Poole. But how long will these soft tires stay competitive with these mediums? They are already over double the wear of the medium tires already. We're only in lap 4. Looks like Hudson may be trying to make a move into bus stop. No, he backs out. He's going to wait for DRS as we start the next lap. Hop back here with Marcel, who was our championship leader, won the last 2 races down in P10. Still in the fight for the potential win here as this top 12 or top 11 drivers are still very, very close, and Hudson just right on the tail of Nick, just waiting and waiting to kind of have to get that DRS so he doesn't get overtaken again as they head down to Kimmel Straight. And actually some spiciness here. Kai Guo maybe looking for some wheel banging there between Hudson and Cam Bourne. So racing here is just so close right now. Let's see. Up on board here with Cam Bourne as we go through turn 1. Excuse me. Back here, Mateo and Fletcher going at it a little bit. Fletcher getting back in front of Mateo. We'll hop on board with our leaders as we go, and we'll try to roll down the order as we see the action. Hudson Poole should easily clear Nick Hamrick. Cam Bourne's going to go for the move as well. Nick Hamrick's just sitting duck with that DRS. Kai Guo now in a little bit of lockup from him on his front right. Hopefully that was not just a graphical thing. But Fred is still in the fight here. Jack Fletcher's still in the fight. Mateo still in the fight. Major Castleman even down to Nathan and Maxime, and a big gap after them. I apologize. I know there's been a couple of complaints about cycling through these too quickly. I try to be in third person before I do that. I'm just trying to look around, try not to miss. People try to make some big moves. Kai Guo really close behind Jack Fletcher, just too far back to make a move, and it's just so hard to overtake at this track outside of turn 1 and at the end of the Kimmel Straight. Ooh, is that Major Castleman going off there? A bit of a wiggle there. Looks he does not go into the wall, but he loses a couple of positions. So now he is behind our championship leader in Marcel. So now as we move into lap 6, excuse me, look at our tire wear here. Our soft tires are already running in the mid-20s to the 30s. We actually have Kai Guo trying to get in front of Nick Hamrick, and he gets that move done, and now Fred tries to make a move and just drives into the side of Nick and spins. So he'll get back in the train, but that was a very ambitious move from Fred. And while that was happening, we had somebody fall down the order, so Nick Hamrick still looking to try to make some moves. Major Castman moving back up the order, actually here battling with Nathan Doan as they exit turn 1. Nathan Castleman, I believe, fell down into P10, and he is back here fighting for P9 with Nathan Doan. Nathan falling off of the back of Marcel here. We actually have a bit of a gap here forming between Kai Guo and Hudson Poole and Cam Bourne. So these a really nice run for both of them. Cam Bourne holding the lead of the race for now. Jack Fletcher actually caught in some kind of incident back here, and he has fallen out of this lead train as he rejoins the track there with Simon right on his tail. Even though a really big gap had formed between P1 and P2 and 3, Kai Guo has gotten back inside that 1 second delta, so he is back in it. So our train is now only 10 drivers. As Jack Fletcher, we have another yellow flag. That might be of Ahmed. Either Gunner or Ahmed. Ahmed, the first person with that 3 second time penalty. Not a lot of track limit warning so far. But now we have Marcel all the way up into P7, so he's just a couple of seconds away from the lead of the race now. Excuse me, so 2.8 is what this is showing from Cam Bourne, our current race leader. A little bit of fighting back here between Jack Fletcher and Simon. I'm imagining Fletcher is going to be looking to get off these tires as he is just so far down the order now. Still no one pitting here in the lead train, but now we're going 3 wide, going towards turn 1. Mateo being overtaken by both, it looked like Fred and Marcel. So Marcel now into P5. Bit of a gap here forming. It looks like Nick Hamrick's tires might be falling off. He's falling off this lead train, but he's still within that 1 second delta. Marcel getting in front of both Fred and Mateo as they went through bus stop just a few moments ago. So the medium tire is definitely the tire to be on now. Nick Hamrick kind of losing them a little bit. Still has DRS, but that toe is doing a lot. Ahmed getting a nice speeding into the pit lane penalty, so he's up to 13 seconds. Nick Hamrick has a little bit of work to do to catch back up. Ooh, big slide as he goes. As he goes through that corner, Fred actually getting back in front of Marcel, so Marcel having to check up a little bit there to avoid smashing into Nick as he drifted through the corner. Roldy picking up a 3 second time penalty well in the back on those hard tires. So now our 3 leaders are kind of pulling away. It's going to take a lot here to catch back up with them as the soft tires, Nick struggling a little bit on the soft tire this lap. Up back here with Nathan Doan, who's really, really close to Mateo. Again, these soft tires just at the point where they straight up stink. More yellow flags. I believe that is Simon Colston, who was having some trouble with this previous corner a little while ago. A little bit of wing damage, so Simon's going to have to pit. No safety car. But that gap to the leaders, 2 seconds now. Looks like Nick Hamrick will be the first one of our top 10, to pit here. Mateo electing to stay out. Nick Hamrick, I would imagine from here, will be going to hards. But our lead order now, this delta should just grow and grow as Fred will likely not have anyone. Well, he does have Marcel behind him, so maybe Marcel can help. Still, I believe Ahmed struggling on his own in the back in the Williams. A little bit of battle here as Cam Bourne hangs on to the lead. Kai Guo really close to Hudson. Some fighting here between Jack Fletcher as Jack Fletcher. Oh no, excuse me. Gunner just overtook him as Jack Fletcher came out of the pits. So both Red Bulls have pit and they're going to the end on the medium tires. So a long way to go on this tire as we are only in lap 8. And the expectations of a lot of these medium runners will be to pit relatively soon for hards. More yellow flags towards the back. Looks like that's not a med that time. That is Gunner, the new reserve who just joined us earlier today. A lot of front wing damage there. Mac getting a 3-second time penalty, but currently no one in that delta. Yellow flags continue as Gunner rejoins the track. So our order is starting to fall apart a little bit here. Marcel, a lot to do here to catch up with our lead pack. We will see here as they race very closely through the bus stop. Will any of them pit? No, no one is pitting yet, so they're staying out. Maybe staying out for Sauce. They have a long way to go, though. Marcel already cutting that lead down from, look like 2.5 now to under 2 seconds. So Marcel showing his usual strong pace. We have Mateo and Major Castman into the pits. So we'll see what tire they elect to finish the race on. Mateo onto medium tires. Castleman onto medium tires. Ahmed, more penalties. That is Chubb Tucker into the pits now. So I would imagine from here he would have to go onto hards, and he does. Very close here. So the order from Camborne to Hudson to Kai Guo is holding on strong here. Marcel, a long way to go to catch up with them. Right, hanging on to the DRS of him. So we have Haas running 5 and 6 now. A little bit of action here from Mateo and Major Castleman as they catch up to the back of Nick Hamrick, who pit the lap before. So it looks like they actually overcut him. So they are Mateo actually picking up a penalty. As I bring that up, Hudson and Kai Guo very, very close together. Fred actually losing that DRS delta to Marcel. So that would be a frustrating thing to see, but Marcel getting closer and closer to catching these guys. It's possible he catches them before everyone starts pitting, but we will see. So back here in P10, we have Nick Hamrick, who is catching. We have a little bit of battle here between Hudson and Kai Guo. Kai Guo getting a little impatient, trying to get in front of him before, and that actually gets eruption. It gets Marcel into the DRS of our leaders. So now Marcel is riding along with our leaders. Fred, the first Haas to pit. Nathan staying out for this lap. But Marcel is now in the lead fight. So he has gone from P18 in 10 laps. He has caught up with our 3 leaders who have gapped the rest of the field. As of now, back here towards the back, we have a lot of people pitting. Fred is going on to hard tires. Nick Hamrick still on those mediums, and he is leading Major Castman and Mateo into turn 1. A bit of a lockup there for him into turn 1. Simon here almost hitting the wall. Still has wing damage, so he's driving with half a front wing. Magnuson Cube looks like he has just retired in the pits. Is that what it looks like? Yeah, Magnuson Cube has retired in the pits, so very interesting way to finish his final race here in CRL. Spinning on his own at the start and then retiring in the pit lane. So that is the end of that. But again, Marcel back in this very, very tight fight for P1. Fred still kind of hanging on to the lead of these cars that pit before him. So no undercut happening for these medium runners. But now Fred is going to have to try to stay in front of tires that may be a little bit quicker than him for some time. Fred actually getting a penalty, so let me take a look to see. That is a speeding penalty, so that is a penalty he won't be able to clear without a safety car. So that will definitely hurt his chance of fighting for a podium. And we finally see some of these leaders pit, so Kai Guo and Marcel both pit. Hamborn and Hudson Poole staying out for now. Nick Hamrick really close to Fred. Looks like he's actually going to get overtaken before he goes into the bus stop. Fred trying to hang around the outside, just driving Nick off the racing line at the apex. Fred lagging to the back, so some spicy network fun happening here between them. Nick holding onto his position but locking up again, so Nick still holds his position, but Mateo is inside of him now. All right, so there it is. So Marcel comes out about 2 seconds in front of these guys on hard tires. Will they be able to close this gap, or will they fight too much like we've seen so far? So Nick Hamrick, no DRS. Fred and Mateo behind him. Mateo's going to get in front. Fred looks like he's going to try to send it down the inside, and he is. Who's going to come out on top here? Looks like Nick is going to hold on to that position for now. Major Castman in that a little bit too. And he actually does get in front of Fred. So Fred having to go wide as he was racing with Nick Hamrick there. Loses the position to Major Castman, but the fact remains, how long will these medium tires hang on compared to these hards? We have seen just how long these hards just hold on to pace in the last 2 races, but it will take some time for them to get first up to temperature, and then in that window where they're quicker. Marcel just already cutting into this gap by a lot. Looks like he is actually going to inherit the lead of the race here and undercut our leaders by quite a bit. Will they finally pit here? I would imagine they will. So there goes Hudson. Cam Bourne staying out. So it looks like Cam Bourne may be playing the long game here and driving to the soft tires. So he's going to be undercut by quite a bit. When he does finally pit, it's just how much pace he's going to have when he inevitably gets on those soft tires. Oh, Hudson going to softs. He's going to, okay, Hudson's not going to hards. Hudson's going to softs. So Hudson has driven to the soft tires, but he's going to come out behind Marcel. I believe he's going to come out behind this entire train, if I'm not mistaken. We'll hop on board here with him as he comes out. He's going to come out racing next to him, but he's going to have no speed as they're going to have a bit more time to pick up speed. He comes out right in front of Mateo, who's just a second behind. He comes out right behind Kaiguo on those hards and right behind Marcel. So he's still in the fight. So the undercut was not as bad as I thought, but he will be right up to racing speed basically immediately. A little bit of a fight here with Kaiguo, but it looks like he's not going to go for it yet. Mateo actually losing a bit of time there. Castleman falling out of the DRS as he is fighting with Nick Hamrick behind him. Fred falling off of... Oh, Fred's still with him. Excuse me, Maxime about 4 seconds behind them. These soft tires are going to be insanely rapid relative to these hards, or at least the next 2 laps. So we'll definitely need to hang on here and see how this goes for him. Nick Hamrick and Castleman very, very close. Mateo pulling away from both of them while on basically the same strategy. Simon Colston with some... That is Ahmed retiring from the race. We will stick on board here with Hudson Poole as he is on these soft tires. Cam Bourne staying out still. So Cam Bourne believes the tire, he needs more tire for the end of the race. But we'll see. Mateo just outside that DRS, so maybe this next lap he may be able to catch, but he won't have DRS this time around as we head towards the Kimmel Straight. A little bit of a tap there from Hudson into the back of Marcel. More yellow flags towards the back. I believe that's Simon on the side of the road there. And from here, Kaiguo actually falling off the back of Hudson. Hudson super quick on these soft tires. Hudson looks like he's going to go around the outside and make this move stick very easily with the help of DRS here. And will he be able to pull away from Marcel? Very close deltas here behind in this train currently led by Major Castman, and Simon has retired from the race. So that is 3 people who have retired in the pits this race. This little train led here by Major Castman, just a little bit outside that DRS delta to Mateo. Mateo now is having to chase these guys being led by a bunch of soft runners. Certainly going to help certainly not going to help his chances of catching Kai and Marcel. And there it is. That is Hudson pulling just outside of that, just flirting here. Who has enough battery here? Hudson's just dumping his entire battery here. Nope, Marcel's going to hold on to it. And actually, Kaiguo is actually going to lose them. So the tow from Hudson successfully drops Kaiguo potentially here. He's showing under 1 second, but back up to 1.1. All right, Cam Bourne finally pits. So Cam Bourne's going to be quite a ways behind them as he stayed out for a long time. So look, he falls all the way down. It looks like into potentially P7. Nope, he falls into this train, so a long way to go for him to catch up with everyone here, as Marcel and Hudson are pulling away from the rest of the field. Let me drop that menu. That's just sitting there in front of everyone. The Camric right on the tail. Of Camborne on these new tires. Major Castman picking up a 3-second time penalty, so that'll definitely hurt his race from where he is right now. Mateo being overtaken by Camborne, so these new softs already showing what they can do. Camborne flat through Huon there, a little too far back to make a send on Castleman there. Castleman on these medium tires, the wear is starting to add up. So, ooh, very wide there. Looks like Camborne's going to make the move here on Castleman. Castleman not necessarily giving it up yet, but he's also not on the battery. Nope, they're both on the battery now. Top to our helicopter cam here. Let's see. It looks like Camborne's going to get that move done, and Mateo right behind them looking for making that pick up a few scrapes or a few scraps here. Nope, that's how he settles. So now Camborne leads this train. How quickly will he pull away from these guys? Marcel is still holding on to that DRS of Hudson, and Kai Guo is now just in no man's land as he has fallen off the two leaders. The only hope for him to catch up with them is if they fight, but Marcel knows the longer this race goes, the better his tires will get. So 3 seconds is the gap between Camborne, who is our latest pitter, with the exception of Roldy, who just pit, but he is well in the back. So we have a little bit of action here between Nick Hamrick and Fred. They've already touched wheels quite a few times this race. They're going side by side. A big snap there from both of them. Fred going into the wall. So very aggressive driving from both of them, just does not end well for Fred. Nick Hamrick losing out there also, as now he is over a second behind Mateo. He's going to have to do a little bit of pushing to catch back up with him before they run away in the DRS. Fred, wing damage now. So he's going to have to either try to hold it out on this broken wing or pit for a fresh wing. Major Castman already being gapped by Camborne on these fresh soft tires. I would imagine Camborne is about to set the fastest lap of the race as he crossed the line. Already cut that gap into Kai Guo by about 1 second. Have to get off the battery or he'll run out before he gets to the bus stop here as he goes through Blanchimont. It's like this battle back here is still spicy. Maxime is leading a little train here, followed by Nathan and Jack Fletcher. Nathan on the newest tires, and they're also hard tires, so very interesting. Nathan, a big cut there as he ghosts. So I wonder if the cut caused him to ghost or if he got a little tap there from Fletcher. Ooh, big lag spike there, so that may have actually been me. Fletcher looks like he's maybe, Nathan going crazy there. Going very wild through turn one there, and he's going to lose them as they head up the hill towards the Kimmel Straight, so he won't have DRS. So very unfortunate now, but Marcel has taken the leads of the race, so those soft tires are over 28%. The hard tires are just under 10. A little bit of slide there from Marcel, unless that was intended. So we may be at that point where the hard tires are better than the softs, at least for Hudson softs. Nick Hamrick, we kind of see on these older mediums, is losing more and more time to Castleman and Mateo, as he has the oldest, both the Red Bulls have the oldest mediums currently on the grid, as they both hit 8 laps ago. We see towards the back, Fred did elect to pit again, and he has put on some fresh mediums. But even with that tire disadvantage now, Hudson, is still hanging on to the back of Marcel. I would imagine he won't be lost. But behind them with about 8 laps to go, Camborne is closing that gap. He is lapping almost 8/10 quicker right now than Marcel, over a second faster than Hudson. So we will see as we move down to Kimmel Straight. Ooh, Hudson almost going into the back of Marcel there. So he had to evade and lost a little bit of time, but looks like Kaigo had a bit of a same issue there. So we will hop on board with Hudson here. Will he make the move with the DRS? It looks like he's close enough to make something happen. But you will have to kind of debate this. Nope, he looks like he's just going to go for it and just take the lead as they go into there. And Cam Bourne also getting by Kai Guo. 2.5 seconds, 2.4 seconds is the gap between him and Marcel right now, who lead the race. Down here, Maxime actually getting overtaken by Jack Fletcher. About a 4-second gap between the two Red Bulls here, between P7 and P8. Still have a little bit of a train here. Looks like Mateo and Major Castman, who both hold penalties, 3 seconds of penalties, excuse me, with Mateo actually 1 warning away from another penalty. So right now, Major Castman has broken that 3-second delta to Nick Hamrick, so he will hold on to his position here if they can keep the pace up. But Nick Hamrick is struggling quite a bit on these older medium tires. Back here, Marcel actually getting back in front of Hudson. Hudson probably just deciding, you know, we have to get away from Cam, so let me get Marcel back in front and let him lead us to victory. So Kai Guo still in this fight, so if Cam can kind of pull that gap back to the leaders and pull Kai with him, we should have a 4-way battle for the lead of the race here. And we see Major Castman rounding that bus stop well behind them. With that penalty, it'll be difficult to score any kind of podium, barring any kind of incident happening between our leaders. Looks like both Castman and Mateo are doing a good job of doing a nice job of pulling away from Nick, who currently does not have a penalty compared to the 3-second time penalty that they both hold on to. But no, Hudson gets back into the lead. Maybe Marcel is playing some chicken back here. And actually, Cam Bourne and Kai fighting very, very heavily. So Kai is not going to settle to get back in the lead here with Cam's pace. He wants to get back in front of him and fight for this last podium spot. You must kind of feel that they are not going to make it back to fight for the lead here. But with the way they're trading up front, I mean, Cam Bourne is still flying. 43.9 was his last lap. And before he started fighting with Kai, he had a very nice opportunity to catch back up with him. So, whereas Marcel did a 45.3, so over a second quicker on that previous lap, but potentially all for naught. Kind of look back here. Looks like Marcel's going to get back in front of Hudson. Looks like Hudson is purposefully letting him by so that he doesn't lose time, or so Marcel doesn't have the opportunity to use the DRS to slingshot an advantage. So some crafty work here from Hudson. Again, a 3-time champion with ZRL. Now, we saw last lap a little bit of a battle there through Sector 2 between Cam Bourne and Kai. A lot of wheel banging. We'll see. If Cam Bourne just has a couple of laps to push, he may be able to catch up with their leaders. But will Kai Guo let him do that, as he's close enough to continuously fight him? So we'll see. Looks like the same thing going to happen up here. Marcel's going to not necessarily let with the DRS, but Hudson's going to take the lead of the race. Kai Guo not close enough, so Cam Bourne can push here, but they don't have a lot of battery. Mateo actually getting in front of Castleman, so they still have a big lap. So Mateo just taking that position from him with DRS as they are fighting each other alone at the moment. Up on board here with Cam Bourne. Will he be able to close this gap? Just 2 seconds separates him and Eruption. If he can get inside that DRS delta before our final lap, he'll have an opportunity to make something happen. But these soft tires just do not hold on for that long. He is already up to about 30% tire wear, whereas Kai Guo, whose tires are 3 laps older, are still under 20%. He's actually sitting at 16.9% as his highest tire wear, or his highest worn tire right now. And actually, the delta is actually growing again. So that attack from Kai Guo may have cost them an opportunity to potentially take the lead of the race, and Cam Bourne being overtaken there by Kai Guo. Will he have enough? 1.4. It's going to be really, really, really close. Marcel not getting in front. Actually, he's there. So look at that. 7/10. So it was actually a really nice move. And look at Hudson just moving over and letting Marcel get back in front. So with 2 laps to go, we have a 4-horse race for our race winner here. Cam Bourne and Kai doing a great job catching back up with these guys, but at the same time, they are lapping. Hudson and Marcel are lapping in the 46s and the 47s. So compared to our race leader right now, Marcel did a 47.2. Kai Guo did a 45.0. So the way they are sandbagging this, certainly not helping them. Kai Guo and Cam Bourne continuously fighting there. Hudson back in the lead of the race. We have yellow flags in front of them. I think we have maybe Roldy in that Alpine potentially having a bit of an off-track excursion in front of them. But they are running into these back markers. So now the race is on to see who can catch up with the back marker on the last lap, on the last DRS straight. We will see how this goes. Lap and a half to go. Our current running order is Hudson Poole as Genghis Khan 54, Marcel as Eruption, Kai Guo as Formula Kai, and Cam Bourne in the Mercedes behind them. Looks like Marcel potentially taking the lead here. Hudson just lifting, I would imagine, to try to let him by. Yep, he's lifting. He's trying to give the lead to Marcel. Hudson is playing the DRS games really well here, with the exception of letting these guys back into the fight. So we'll see. With Marcel here, Roldy actually crashing out, or no, he retired in the pits. So Roldy is done before he gets lapped. So now Marcel, as we move into lap 21, with a lap 21 of 22, excuse me. I may have said a lap and a half before. He will undoubtedly get overtaken again as we move down the Kimmel Straight for our second to last time here. Kai Guo actually falling back a little bit. Hudson doing a good job of building a bit of a gap out of turn 1, so he's going to take the lead here. Will Kai Guo be close enough to make a move? Marcel likely dumping a lot of battery here to hold on to his position, and he will. So Cam Bourne still at the back of this pack. Kai Guo in P3 as we head towards the middle part of lap 21 here. Hudson and Marcel going side by side. A little bit of wheel banging there. Hudson really, really wide. Looks like Hudson's trying his hardest to let Marcel get back in front of him. He just he runs the risk of losing positions to the guys behind. So as we see these gaps just get closer and closer. So yeah, Hudson just doing his nonsense again. Dumping a little bit of battery here. He's lifting. We see him lift some more. Oh, man. So there's that back marker that I was talking about. If they catch this back marker with DRS at the Kimmel Straight, Hudson is trying his best to hold everyone behind him, but they're going to catch this back marker before they get to the Kimmel Straight. It's looking like back marker of Gunner, and there goes Hudson again, letting Marcel through. So Cam Bourne at the back of this, just patiently waiting. He is the best sitting person battery-wise. Kai really, really wide there, losing a bit of time there. Is Cam going to go for a move here into turn 1? Up on board, no, he's too far back. So Hudson now about 4.5 tenths. Big slide there as he goes into turn 1. This might give Marcel an opportunity to dump his whole battery and hold on to this race lead as we go into the final lap. So let's hop on board here with Cam Bourne. Will we have enough? This is a long way to go. Cam Bourne is probably too far back to make any kind of push. But look at that battery. Look at that overspeed. He's actually going to get by. Eruption's going to stay in the lead. Kai Guo, look at them go flying by. So Marcel's going to hold on to that position of turn 1. They're going to go side by side. Hudson's going to look for a move around. Potentially more bumping between the two of them. Cam Bourne comes out on top, and Marcel is just going to drive off into the sunset, but we're still in a battle for the last 2 podium positions. Marcel playing that perfectly as he comes through turn 1. Hudson struggling on the exit of turn 1. Kai Guo and Cam Bourne still fighting tooth and nail for P2 now. And it looks like the podium battle for Hudson is likely all over without any kind of incident happening between Kai Guo and Cam Bourne. We see a lot of battery for Kai Guo as we move towards the back straight here for the final time. Going to see that green meter there at the bottom of your screen being dumped there by Cam Bourne. He's going to dump his whole battery, but it looks like he may have dumped a little bit too soon. Still a lot more battery there for Kai, so he's going to send it as we go into Blanchimont for the final time, and he's going to get in front of Cam Bourne, but Cam Bourne now has the tow. Will Cam Bourne send it back on? Oh, bit of a tap there at the rear, but Kai is going to hold on to it, and it looks like he's going to finish in P2. Hudson going from fighting for the win there. Marcel just running off into the sunset. Tried one too many times to hold on to that position with the DRS chicken. The tires just falling off too much at the end there. Major Casper coming in P6. Mateo, very strong drive in P6. Nick Hamrick in P7. Maxime in P8. Jack Fletcher in the second Red Bull in P9. Nathan Doan in P10 to round out our top 10. And that does it for our race. Eruption playing the DRS chicken perfectly. Just knowing he has that tire advantage. Running off and winning the race by over a second. Hudson trying his best to play chicken as long as he possibly could. But it does not work out for him. And he loses out on a podium right at the end. You see Fred go crashing into the wall. So lots and lots of wheel banging through this race. And a few incidents here. This is short qualifying. That is not our results. So that's our podium. We have Marcel, Kai Guo, and Cam Bourne. Very spicy at the end there. Hudson pushing everyone together. And then losing out on that podium at the last second. Skip through here so we can make sure we have enough time. Grab these deltas just in case we need them. And that does it for that race. So here is the actual race finishing order. And we will head over and take a look for our interviews. Give Castman props for a nice race there. Look at Cam Bourne and Kai if he wants to. He has declined already. Just one more second. I apologize. Let's see. Kai finished P2. All right. So we'll go ahead and hop up here. We'll bring our P3 finisher here, Cam Bourne. Really, really nice drive to catch back up with everyone towards the end. We saw you stay out for a very, very long time. Were you sure you were going to catch back up with that lead train when you decided to stay out? Hang on there 1 second, Cam. I can't hear you. Maybe that's me, or if it's you, I actually can't hear anything. Double check.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there it is. There you are.
Uh,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry, yeah, I was just saying that that was the plan kind of going in was to box lap 13. I expected everyone to do medium soft. So when they boxed early to the hards, I was kind of unexpected. So I knew they were going to undercut me. So I figured just stick to the plan, see what happens.
Well, yeah, it worked out. I mean, it did help that Hudson was playing. I don't know if how much you actually saw it. I know when you caught up with them, the gaps things got kind of tight there for a little bit because Hudson was doing some DRS cheese through for a while. He would let Marcel go after overtaking him when they were going down the back straight towards bus stop. Uh, now I know there was a lot of fighting between you and Kai that race. Was there anything you felt may have been unfair? We almost kind of thought that you guys may have lost the lead train when he tried to overtake you maybe 2 or 3 laps into your soft stint.
Yeah, I don't understand why he didn't want to just follow me and work together, try and catch the lead pack since I was on fresh softs. But he went for a move. We went side by side through uh what is it, turn like 3 at the end of the long straight, 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that kind of cost us, to be honest, because we could have caught up.
Wait, it was still a great result from you. You had some really strong pace, and you didn't lose the leaders too much with your kind of late pit stop strategy there. But after this week, we have a week off, and then we head back to Japan. I think for the third season in a row, and I believe that'll be our first sprint race. Have you done any Japan on this game yet?
I don't think I have, to be honest. Maybe real like just a couple laps when the game first came out, but I don't think so.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing what kind of pace you show us when we do that in a couple of weeks. So again, congratulations on the podium.
Thank you.
All right. And then in P2, we actually have here, we have Kai Guo.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, probably
hello
interrupted your
there. Yeah, I
conversation.
was mid-conversation.
Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, well, congratulations on that P2. We did see you guys, you and Cam Bourne, we saw you guys having a really tight battle as you guys tried to work back towards the leaders of Hudson and Marcel. Um, what
Yeah,
were
that
you
was
thinking?
crazy.
Yeah, what were you thinking? I mean, because what we were thinking here in the booth was that potentially kind of let Cam work those new softs, kind of get him back towards the lead of the race. But you decided to keep fighting. Were you just more focused on trying to get that podium rather than maybe fighting for the race win?
Um, no, the goal was definitely to win, but I um I tried to slingshot past him. It wasn't trying to just fight him for the position. I was actually trying to close the gap to like the top two, but like difficult to get that message across when you're on track and you're not talking to each other, you know?
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
So I tried to do the little thing when I got past him and then try to like do a little weave to let him know, hey, let's work together, man. We gotta catch these two guys in front. Can't let them have an easy win. But maybe from his POV, it might have looked like I was just trying to battling him and costing him time so that he doesn't catch up. But no.
So with
But
that finish,
honestly,
oh, go ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
No,
I was
go
gonna
ahead. Go
say.
ahead.
So with that finish, that's technically your first official podium, as you were knocked off the podium last week with the penalty. Um,
Yeah.
but that.
Honestly,
Oh,
super
go ahead.
happy.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So sorry,
No, no, it's
we
all right.
keep
Go
cutting each
on.
other off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna say, no, it's great because I remember starting, I think in 22, is in D4, D3, and just like nonstop, like trying to improve, battling, and like working my way up the ranks. It's just super rewarding, man. To like finally be up here, it's nice. It's a good feeling.
Dude, it's great to see you up here. It kind of, I mean, we just reminder for everyone watching, just because you're in at the back of D2 or we're in D3 last season doesn't mean it's not in you to improve and do like Kai is doing here and be fighting for podiums in D1 one day. So,
Yeah,
yeah. So again,
like sky's the
congratulations.
limit,
Yeah,
or as
of
they say,
course.
Kai's the limit. You know.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. So in a couple weeks we have Japan. We're going to take a week off and then we'll have Japan. Have you done any Japan on this game?
I'm gonna be missing, I think, Japan because
Shoot.
I'll be attending a festival, but I'll be back hungry for more.
Well, hopefully Marcel finishes in P last, so you still have a shot when you get back. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations on that P2, man, and we look forward to whenever you come back. So.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And then our race winner tonight, the one and only Marcel Paps, 3 wins in a row. Marcel, when we caught on to Hudson's DRS nonsense, or whatever you want to call it, that he was pulling on you towards the end, were you a little bit worried that he was pulling Kai and Camborne back in to the fight for the win?
I wasn't concerned too much, because first of all he was on the soft, and I think the second last lap on the back straight, I noticed that he used a lot of battery and he had kinda dead tires. After the last corner, so I pushed for the first turn and got a pretty nice gap, and it was already GG, but it was a matter of time, and also some DRS games which happened a little bit, which I'm not really a fan of, but it is what it is.
So, Marcel, even the second you got that lead back in the last lap, you just ran away with it in the same way you've run away with both the other 2 races that we've had this year. In 2 weeks, after our week off, we'll be back at Japan, I believe, for the 3rd season in a row. Have you done any Japan yet in this game?
A little bit of hot laps, like qualifying laps for another league, for a German league, which is I think next week, if I'm correct. Also Japan. Yeah, I should be pretty good there. Like Japan is a very nice track to drive, and it's a difficult track to drive, but still it's a lot of fun.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on 3 W's in a row. We look forward to seeing how much you smash everyone in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And then way down in P4, in his first race with us in a while, we have the man himself, Genghis Khan 54.
Is this seriously still that on the thing?
The whole stream.
Oh my god.
Genghis Khan 54. So here's everyone's proof that was actually Hudson. So Hudson, we caught on with your games those last few laps when your tires were falling off. You would overtake Marcel.
On the sauce.
Well, you would overtake Marcel, and then you would lift to let him by over and over and over. Was it just you knowing? No, it didn't.
Until the fucking rest of the team got here, and then they fucked me over, but it's okay.
Yeah, there was some battling between them, so it looked like you guys were just going to be by yourselves at the end, but you pushed them back into the fight. So,
oops.
So, how did it feel? Your first race
really
here. Fun.
It was really fun because, dude, I haven't done this in so long. Even though I had lost a bunch of positions, dude. Just like racing, just so close like that, dude. That's a feeling I miss.
It is always fun, especially when you're fighting for podiums and things like that. So, well, we're glad you got to race with us at least one more time. So hopefully you get to do a few more before you're old and gray and your skills fall down the toilet. So congratulations on your P4, and thanks for racing with us today.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
You too. And that wraps us up. So we are done here for Spa. We will be at Japan in 2 weeks' time. Next week we are off. And then we will be in our first ever sprint. So exciting for that. We will have the game now allows us to set our qualifying order with the the actual race order with qualifying rather than the stupid sprint stuff. So that should make the sprints a little bit easier to manage. So I look forward to that. And tomorrow night, we'll have either myself or Nathan Doan on the helm or on the horn for Division 2. So make sure to catch that. And without further ado, everyone have a nice evening. A nice, wonderful Sunday evening. Thanks, everyone.